We welcome you back to another episode of Tornado Talk here live on Monday, February 2nd. We're officially 1 month through 2026. Hopefully that all treated you well, and hopefully you stayed safe with the weather that was coming through the North Carolina area and many other areas of the country. Hopefully you all stayed safe throughout that process. It seems like we're kind of in the clear now as we head towards some spring sports action. Without further ado, we'll thank our corporate sponsors for tonight's episode. BSN Sports, Comporium, Earthling Coffee, Hampton by Hilton, Jets Pizza, UNC Health Party, Pepsi, Pinnacle Financial Partners, Platt, Prolific People, Suburban Propane, Subway, and Zaxby's. So again, Ryan Wilkes with you here live on Tornado Talk. Thanks for joining us this evening as we'll take a look back at the week that was, or not so much action last week. Men's basketball headed to Mary Baldwin, got a game in on Saturday. Unfortunately, the Tornadoes battled but fell on that one by 5 points on the road. The women's basketball team has had 3 games postponed due to the weather here in the state of North Carolina. The Tornadoes will head to Salem on Thursday for their first game in about 2 weeks after that Southern Virginia game a couple Saturdays ago. Busy week ahead. Baseball kicks off its season on Saturday against Johnson & Wales. We'll talk about that in a minute. The men's team welcomes in Methodist on Saturday as well at 2 p.m. And then on Sunday, on Super Bowl Sunday, the baseball team will wrap up a 3-game set with Johnson & Wales at 1 o'clock. Without further ado, that's a good segue into our first guest of the night, pitcher Matthew Evans with the baseball team. Glad to have him on this evening. Matthew, welcome to the show for the first time here in 2026.
Hello, Ryan. How's your night been?
Doing all right. Hopefully we'll talk quite a few times this season. You had a really great 2026. But first of all, how was your 2025 offseason after that great season you had? What did you get up to outside of baseball? And also in baseball, too, what improvements did you make there in the offseason?
Well, sadly, I got hurt my last outing, so I had a little bit of physical therapy to get done, messed up my knee a little bit, but worked a little bit in a hospital. I'm going to med school after this semester, so getting very excited for that, a little stressful, but other than that, it was, try to keep it a little peaceful, lay off a little bit of baseball, ease back into it, just try to keep the world going round.
So it was an incredible season for you. As I previously mentioned, the USA South Reliever of the Year in 2025, a career best 2.49 ERA with 5 wins as well. What was it that worked so well last season that allowed you to have that success?
Trying not to do too much. I had a really good defense behind me. I only had maybe 10 strikeouts the entire season. I just let them hit it. Let them see how far they can hit it. One guy hit it pretty far, but other than that, they kept it in the park, and we just kept going. Ground balls and pop-ups is the name of the game.
So looking at your numbers year over year, there's been significant improvements throughout your freshman to your junior season, now into your senior year. You mentioned it a little bit, but what mechanics maybe or technicalities did you make in your game on the mound that you hope to continue to build on here in 2026?
Well, mechanics-wise, I would say that I really tried to be smooth. I felt a little jerky on the mound at times. Felt like I was uncomfortable. Felt like I didn't know what to do. What's the hitter thinking? And everything just kind of clicked halfway through the season last year. And I felt like I knew everything that the batter was thinking. I knew the exact pitch I wanted to execute. And I just wanted to have fun. I kept telling myself every single time I walked out there and just look up at the sky, look at my parents, have some fun. This is a kid's game, and smile while you do it.
So you've experienced 2 coaches in your time here at Brevard, Vinny Carone and Cam Cook, the new regime coming in after the interim season for Vinny last year. Talk about those 2 guys and the impact that they've had on your development as a player.
Oh, they've been wonderful. I enjoyed being able to watch Coach Vinny really step into a head coaching role. I knew it was new for him. We loved him as our assistant. We loved Cam as a pitching staff. To watch them be able to elevate us and just keep us going. And we started a little rough in the beginning of the year, and Vinny sat us down and said, "Hey, if you don't want to be here, leave," in the best words possible. And we rallied behind him. He got ejected last year, and it was it was real fun actually. We gave him a little boot, and just to watch them grow and to watch them smile and grow a team into a program, it's pretty fun to be.
So this pitching staff as a whole, talk a little bit about some of the guys coming back this season, also some newcomers that could enter the fold and be productive this year.
Oh, I would love to. We got a lot of new guys. I won't lie to you. Our freshmen they're ready to go. Jackson Wegledge, Jonah Campbell, Ledford, Wahoo. There's so many names that I can think of, and then there's a lot of sophomores. A name that I think of is a guy named Cole Smith. He's one of the nicest guys to ever be around on a field, and he didn't get as many opportunities as he wanted to. And you watch him put his head down and get to work, and it's really fun to see. And then as the older guys, I mean, we have plenty of stables. I know we lost Tom, we lost Circe, we lost Charlet as almost a coach in a way. But, seeing guys like Aaron Burchett take a role, obviously our captain Fish, he's always great to be around, always makes the guys smile, and real fun to sing his walk-up song.
So I've always been interested in this. I've never been in this scenario myself, but when you're not on the mound, I'm sure there's some things that can go unsaid about what happens in the bullpen. But what's the energy like in there? And what do you guys kind of do on days that you're not pitching?
Loud, get the cones out, try to make them the most annoyed as possible without getting a walkie saying politely to be quiet. As loud as we can physically be, if we can push a little fine edge right there, it's beautiful. Get the football guys in on it, get the stands in on it. We love to make them laugh, and it's just fun. But there gets to be also a point where you're like, oh, I'm about to go in this game. Maybe put a little game face on, maybe throw some plyo balls around. And then once you step on the mound in the pen, it's go time. There ain't no jokes. We're here to win a baseball game.
So as you know, college goes pretty quickly. One day you're a freshman, sophomore that's looking up to these other guys. Now you're a senior. You're one of the leaders in this room. How have you kind of transitioned into a leadership role in this team?
I've loved it, if I'm not going to lie to you. I remember being, well, not shy, but maybe a little bit more quiet, maybe keeping my personality a little bit lower. And to see the older guys kind of just be themselves, it really inspired me to, show who I really am, that I like to laugh. I like to skip around. I like to sing songs. And baseball it's a game of passion. It's a game of love. And if you're sitting around, you're not smiling, what are you doing playing it, man? You remember when you're 6 years old hitting off of a tee? Like, it really warms my soul to be able to see people smile, make people smile. And if they need help on a slider or a splitter, I can help with that too.
So a lot of baseball, as you know, is mental. Not every appearance on the mound or in the box is going to go the way that you want it to. How do you kind of have a short memory when it comes to those things? If you don't have an appearance that goes well, how do you kind of shake that off and get back on the mound the next time and produce?
Well, lucky you're talking to me, because I started 0-3 last season before I kind of picked it back up. And it's hard. You lay your head on the pillow at night and you're thinking, what went wrong? What can I do better? But then you got to wake up. You got to see another sun. My mom always says the sun's always going to come up the next day. What are you going to do about it? And just get to work. As long as you can just figure out one thing that you did wrong and execute it better the next time, it's going to be okay. And if you get shelled, if you get hit hard, if you walk a couple of guys, go work on it. You're going to get another shot. Go have fun. I'll keep saying it. Go have fun. And when you're having fun, good things happen.
So experiencing this team and my one experience with you guys on media day, I really got the vibe that you guys are a tightly knit group that likes to have fun, like you mentioned, with each other. But you haven't spent all that much time together. How have you guys kind of fostered a welcoming environment for these new guys that are coming into a brand new environment? How have you kind of welcomed them in with open arms?
Well, we always felt, my senior class, the guys that are left, we really felt like we didn't really know the upperclassmen that well. They were kind of like, you had Brett Burchett, 6th year, you had Chap, 5th year, and like you had all the older guys, and they were kind of in their own little corner. And we didn't really like that. So, if you want to come down to the Villages, you want to watch a football game, come join us, please. Let us know what your high school was like. Let us know what you're into. I play the saxophone. Like, I do a bunch of random things. Like, tell me about yourself. And you watch them. It's real fun. You watch them to slowly break around like their wall. You see their wall start to shatter. You become you see the people that they really are, and it's really enjoyable.
So let's focus on you for a bit. Who is Matthew Evans off the field? What do you do in your free time? Any specific hobbies that you have?
Matthew Evans off the field. Well, I've been part of the wind ensemble for 4 years here. I play the alto saxophone, baritone saxophone, soprano saxophone. They stuck a bassoon in my hand. No one really knows what that is. It's just a really big stick connected to a reed. It's kind of fun. I'm a health science major. I'm an honors student. I'm going to medical school after this year. I really want to be in the ER to just help people. I love the passion. I love the adrenaline. Just, I do a lot of things, Ryan. I do a lot of things.
So on that note, I'll ask you, have you watched the show The Pit? Have you heard of that one?
I've heard of The Pit. I try to lay off of medical shows just because I find them a little irritating sometimes. You're listening to them talk, and you're like, that's not correct. You're not supposed to do that. But I have heard of it. It seems intriguing. I can see why people enjoy it, but I stick to more. I'm a more Criminal Minds guy. I like the murder mysteries myself.
I'd be interested to get your opinion on it because, in my opinion, obviously I'm not in that field, but it does seem like a little bit more accurate than something.
I have heard that. I have heard they had the doctor, like the actor, pretending to be a real doctor on an SNL skit, and I was like, this guy could probably give me some care. I feel okay.
He's pretty convincing. But getting off that tangent here, you talk about your academics and what you want to do after school. Talk about life after baseball. What has baseball kind of taught you that you can take into many different aspects of life?
Baseball has taught me so much. My father made me fall in love with this sport at a very young age, and part of it's hard to see you go, but I'm going to be one really good T-ball coach. Let me tell you, one day I got the fundamentals down, but you're always going to hold on to it. You're always going to hold on to Logan Sawyer is always going to be one of my closest friends. G Money, you'll see him in a second. He's always going to be one of my closest friends. Fish, Juan, I'm going to forget a couple of names, but it's really shown me that be who you want to be. Do what you want to do. If you want to go play baseball, you want to go play baseball. You want to go play saxophone, go play the saxophone. You can do whatever you put your mind to, and I'm going to keep that going for me.
So lastly, coming from Florida, what was it about Brevard that kind of reeled you in, and how have you enjoyed your time here, not just in baseball, but with everything else that you do here around Brevard?
Well, at first I was going to enjoy the cold, but after shoveling snow for about 5 hours, I've started to get a little annoyed by it. But I've always loved the mountains. I crave the rivers and going on hikes. I love nature. I like to go skiing. So coming close to the mountains, getting away from the beaches, I fell in love with it the first day, and I'm going to still be in love with it the last day.
So I almost forgot about this one, but I ask every athlete this question, and I'd hate to leave it off for you, but what is your game day routine on a day that you know you're going to pitch? What does that lead up look like? Do you have any superstitions, anything you like to do, any music that you listen to before you go on the mound?
Well, music-wise, yes, I listen to Sweet Home Alabama. It was my dad's walk-up song. It was my walk-up song all growing up. I make sure to listen to that at some point. And then I do the same yoga routine. I do the same stretches. I do the same bands. I'm very superstitious. I throw with the same baseball. It's normally a baseball that I give up either a home run or a loss in, just because I hate it so much. I have to get comfortable with it. Routine, just wake up, brush the teeth, comb your hair, look good while you do it, go have some fun. Getting on the mound, I throw the same 5 pitches every single time. There's no debates. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And right before I step on the mound, I step off and I hold my pendant that my father gave me. And I wait until I hear absolute silence. I can hear nothing but my breathing. And that's when I know I'm ready to go.
Matt, well, thank you for taking some time tonight, man. This was fun. Hopefully we can do it again soon.
Oh, absolutely, Ryan. You have a good rest of your day.
All right, buddy. You as well. All right, that is Matt Evans, the reigning USA South reliever of the year in 2025. What a great season he had, and hopefully looking to have a similar season coming up for the Tornadoes, who opened this weekend against Johnson & Wales. Before we welcome in our next guest, we'll preview him a little bit. Gavin McCoy, first baseman, DH. Looking forward to have him join the show, and looking forward to the end of the show. We're going to have Elizabeth Ausiello and Reagan Winkler of the softball team. So while we wait for Gavin, we'll talk a little bit about him. He's a senior entering his final season here with Brevard, and very highly regarded by this coaching staff. Looking forward to talking to him. But the baseball team will have a good opening weekend this weekend. Hopefully the temperatures will warm up as well. That's what it's looking like. Looking like it's going to be in the 50s to the 60s for some opening weekend baseball. I know some teams opened this past weekend. My alma mater, one of my alma maters, Carson Newman, played in the snow this past weekend. So looking like we won't have any of that here coming to Brevard. So looking forward to opening up the baseball season here with Johnson and Wales, and looking forward to talking to the softball team as well, who opens up later this month. So to continue on talking, we won't talk to basketball tonight, but we will talk a little bit about them. Again, that loss with Southern Virginia, that was the last time the women were on the floor. Looking forward for them to get back to action. I know it's been a bit of a hiatus for them, trying to pick up where they left off, had won 8 in a row, and looking forward to continue that streak at Salem after that loss to Southern Virginia. So we're still waiting here for Gavin McCoy to join the show, but want to thank Matt again for hopping on. A little bit more about Matt. We talked about it, but 2.49 ERA, career best for him in that season that he won USA South reliever of the year for the Tornadoes in 2025. A little bit what we'll talk to Gavin about. The Tornadoes were 11-5-1 at home last season, and will have the first opportunity to kick off this season at home with Johnson and Wales. So looking forward to talking to him about that and his senior leadership. Another guy that is seasoned in this program and is looking to have a good 2026. A group that features a lot of youth and experience combined between the two. Some talent left last year after graduation, and looking to replace that this year with some new guys and some guys coming back to the team this season. Also, next week, we'll preview what we'll do next week before Gavin joins the show tonight. Hopefully, we can get Ryan Weber on the show. I know we tried to give him a shot last week to come in and preview the men's tennis program that he's taking over here in 2026, but he had some technical difficulties. So hoping to get Coach Weber on the show and have him break down what should be a good season for the Brevard men's tennis program. The women will pick back up in 2027. Looks like Gavin's getting situated here. We'll give him one more minute as we look to continue on tonight's show. And thank you guys for joining us this evening. It's been fun picking this back up in the new year and having some new guests on as we move towards the spring. As Gavin looks to be situated, we'll welcome him in now to tonight's show. Gavin, thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing all right. So now that we're under a week away from the season and that matchup with Johnson and Wales on Saturday, talk about your off season. What did that look like for you, both on and off the field, and getting prepared for your senior season?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work to be put in, especially as a guy that didn't really get to play as much. But, you know, no matter who you are, you got to work to earn a spot. And, you know, off the field, off baseball-wise, a lot of preparing for schoolwork, preparing to go to the next level that way. But there's a lot of getting right physically and mentally ready to go.
So from a team perspective, you all have had the opportunity to have these inter-squad scrimmages and these fall ball matchups within the team. What did you learn about the team in those matchups in the fall?
Yeah, I learned that, you know, we're a real gritty bunch of guys, and we want to get after it no matter who we're playing. Obviously, we're ready to compete against guys that aren't our teammates. But, you know, it's a group of guys that go out there and compete no matter who it's against and never going to let up.
So 18 freshmen enter the fold this season. How have you, as one of the senior leaders, kind of welcomed these guys in to a new environment? College baseball is a lot different than high school baseball. I'm sure you know that. How have you kind of got them acclimated to their new surroundings here at Brevard?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a new environment. I learned that my freshman year, a long time ago. But it's really about making sure they know that they're welcome and that we're excited to have them just as much as they're excited to be here, ready to get to work with them. On and off the field, have fun with them. You know, let them know that, like I said, we're welcoming and we're a bunch of fun guys, and we just want to go have fun and play the game.
So as you know, in baseball, there's a lot of moving parts. Communication is big, as is chemistry. How have those inter-squad scrimmages kind of helped you guys mold as a group on the field and build that chemistry ahead of the 2026 season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to play good in those inter-squads and you want to show why you're here, but it's also – inter-squads are not just about playing good. It's about remembering why you're playing the game, having fun out there, an environment where you're not having to compete against somebody that's not your teammate. So it's always competitive, but it's always respectful. No matter who's playing, you know, there's definitely some moments where emotions get the better of people, but it's always competitive and it's always going to be respectful.
So offensively, this team was really impressive offensively last year, but a lot of production left the door with a couple of big guys graduating. How have you guys kind of been able to maneuver around that and kind of build a group this year that will be competitive offensively?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when you got guys like Kale Ayler, Frankie Vasquez, Luke Morton, Lucas Granada, just to name a few, that produce a lot of runs. But it's good that, we know what we have to do. We know what we're trying to do on our approach at the plate, our approach on the bases in the field, what we're trying to do. And I believe we got the guys for that. You got guys coming in like Davis Andrews is a transfer that we're really excited to have, who's going to swing the bat really well, play good defense in the field. Bryson Jenright's a freshman that we got that's going to be really good for us. You got Jonathan Germany on the mound, who's going to go out there and give you good innings every time he's out there. And, I know we lost a lot, but I'm really excited about what we got too.
So 9 of your first 10 games are at home, a place where you guys went 11-5-1 last year at the Gill. How important is that stretch to kind of build that momentum as you head to a road schedule later in the year?
It's huge. I mean, not just playing at home. Obviously, you love playing at the Gill. Games at the Gill are different. It's a fun environment. You got family there. You got fans there. It's a really nice field. It's a special place to play, but also I believe that, having those moments early and letting us get a chance to get in our groove is going to be really important when we go on these long road trips. I know we go to Kentucky. That's a far one. Those are against good teams. Our first conference series is Mary Baldwin, which is it's a hike up there to Virginia. We got to go. Our conference schedule is road heavy this year, so it's a lot of traveling. So, being at home to start the season is definitely going to help with building momentum to get to that point.
So you talk about those road trips. How do you bring the momentum that you build at home and that energy? How do you bring that on the road in 2026 to kind of improve that road mark from a season ago?
Yeah, it starts at practice, really. I mean, no matter what you're doing on the field during games, like what we practice, what we play, and we try to practice harder than we play, so that when we get on the field, it's smooth and it's easy and it's natural. Yeah, I like the saying, "Practice how you play." Well, we want to practice harder than we play, so that it's easy and we're ready to go when we get on the field.
So you guys picked 4th in the USA South in the preseason poll. Good finish if that would stand. But how do you guys exceed expectations as a team that is kind of a mystery to some of these people that don't know exactly what you have waiting in the wings this year?
Yeah, I mean, we were all waiting for that to come out because we felt like we were going to get a little disrespected, and I definitely feel like we did. We're used to it. I think that it's a new team. We lost 6 or 7 starters in the field, and it's definitely. I understand why people are a little bit skeptical, but I've been on that field every day. Matthew, who you just talked to, has been on that field every day, and we know what we got, and we know what we can do, and we're ready to get after it.
So in this time in the offseason that you've seen this team on the field and you've been part of that, what have you kind of learned about this team's identity and maybe how it might be a little bit different? Like you might get it done in a different way than you did last year. What have you kind of learned about the identity of this year's team coming into 2026?
Yeah, I know from a hitting perspective that last year we had guys like Frankie and Kale that were going to give you home runs and a lot of doubles, and we still have guys that can do that. But I feel like what we're really focusing on is getting a running inning. I feel like the goal is get a running inning. You end with 9 runs. You feel good about having 9 runs. Offensively, we're gonna be out there. We're gonna battle. We're gonna have quality at bats. We're gonna be tough guys to get out. I mean, on the hitting side of things, I think we're a bunch of psychos in the box because you got to give us your best to get us out.
So I'll frame this question. I asked the same question to Matthew, but I'll frame it a little bit different for you. Looking at the 2025 season, there is one series in specific that stood out to me, the Greensboro series, where they won the first game 22-1, and then you guys bounced back and won one and tied the second. How do you have a short memory when you have a game like that where nothing is working offensively and everything's working for the other team? How do you kind of bounce back and have that short memory?
Yeah, so one of the things we're really big on this year is being good in between the ears up here, being good mentally. We want to make sure that, we're ready to go. We're visualizing success. And it's baseball. If you get out 7 out of 10 times, you're going to end up being a really good player. So, I mean, it's tough, and you gotta be able to accept failure for sure. I mean, I've definitely struggled with that in the past, but it's a fun game. It's a kid's game. We just happen to be adults playing it. So you just got to be ready to move on.
So let's focus on you for a little while. Who are you off the field? What do you do in your free time? Kind of tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a health science major here at Brevard. I'm a coaching minor. I'm trying to pursue nursing at grad school next year. I'm a big sports guy. Been watching hockey, baseball, football, all that. Um, it's been fun. I enjoy. I got some hobbies. I enjoy doing it. Just all I'm thinking about right now is getting on that field this weekend. To be honest with you.
So obviously you hold a lot of value in academics. You're an academic all-conference selection a year ago. Talk about the importance of balancing the two on the field, in the weight room, wherever it may be, and also holding strong value in your academics throughout your college career.
Yeah, it's tough. It is, especially you got them long away trips. You got to be willing to do homework on the bus, write a paper on the bus. Done it before. But for me, it's student athlete. Student comes first. I got to get that done. I mean, it matters to me more. But obviously, being an athlete matters, of course. But it's tough to balance, and you got to be able to accept that, and make sure you're doing the things that you can control. The things you control, you got to go to class. You got to turn your homework in. You just gotta be on top of things.
So as a player, let's say somebody's coming in that's interested in coming to Brevard. What's your elevator pitch for this program, for what Coach Vinny and Coach Cam Cook have kind of built in their time here?
I mean, not just the baseball side of things, but as a team, we're a family, and we're never not going to be family. Every single one of these guys, the guys that have been here before this year, the guys that will be here next year that I won't even know, it's family. And it means a lot to be able to wear the Tornado logo. It's a lot. It's playing for not just yourself, not just your teammates, but guys that have been here before you to help build what we got going on now.
So you talked a little bit about your future plans, but how did you come to want to be a health science major, and how did you kind of come to terms with what you wanted to do after graduation?
Yeah. So in high school, I had UCL repair on both of my elbows, and it was a long recovery period. And I definitely had some nurses and physical therapists to help me get through that with a positive mindset, ready to go. And I just want to be able to help people.
So throughout your time at Brevard, what are some lessons that you've learned, both as a player and a student athlete, that you hope you can bring into life after college?
Yeah, I mean, that respect is earned. It's not given. I mean, everything here is earned. Like, you can't just walk out here and expect to get playing time, for example. I mean, you got to earn it. And those are my big two. You got to earn what you got to earn what you get, and you got to have an open mind. You got to be ready to expect new things, take on new challenges, and be able to grow in places that you didn't know you could grow.
So lastly, I ask every athlete that joins the show this question. What does your game day look like from the time you wake up to the time you show up at the field? Do you have any superstitions, any specific music you like to listen to, anything along that line?
Yeah, so I wake up. I'll usually go get a little breakfast, usually some Dunkin' Donuts. That's just my thing. I like to listen to some pop music, a little T Swift, a little Britney Spears, stuff like that. Just trying to get in the right headspace and be excited to play. You can't put too much pressure on yourself, or else it's not going to go good. So you just gotta be excited that you get the chance to play today.
All right, Gavin. Well, thanks for taking some time tonight. I'm looking forward to watching you guys on Saturday.
I appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
All right, bud. That is first baseman and DH Gavin McCoy joining the show this evening. And Brevard opens its season with a doubleheader on Saturday, taking on Johnson and Wales starting at noon before a 1:00 finale on Super Bowl Sunday against the Wildcats. Looking forward to that one. It's got some storylines to it. Former assistant coach Steve Huckey has taken over the Johnson and Wales baseball program, so it'll be two familiar faces squaring off on Saturday. Really looking forward to that one, and looking forward to some good temperatures as we head towards Saturday. Should be in the mid-50s, maybe even low 60s for that Saturday matchup with the Wildcats. Looking forward to watch those guys play, and thank you to Matt and Gavin for joining the show tonight. Looking forward to talking to many other Brevard student athletes on the diamond throughout this season. We'll have Coach Vinny Carone and Cam Cook back on next week to recap the season opener with Johnson and Wales. We're waiting on our next guest. Elizabeth Ausiello will join the show here in a moment. She's a senior pitcher for the Brevard softball team. Looking forward to talk to her as the softball team looks to kick off its season here in a couple weeks against Johnson & Wales at home. A road-heavy slate. We'll get into that as well. 18 straight games on the road for the Tornadoes after those 2 games with Johnson & Wales. So looking for a good start, and then a road-heavy slate heading to Myrtle Beach as well for a couple games there. 6 games in 3 days, I believe, is what the Tornadoes will face in Myrtle Beach at the Fast Pitch Dreams Classic here in mid-March. I believe the Tornadoes will head to Myrtle Beach. So while we wait for Elizabeth, a little bit about her, senior pitcher, 3.37 ERA last year, 5 complete games for Elizabeth. Looking forward to break down that 2025 season for her. Again, thank you all for joining this evening as we move throughout this show. It's been really fun to bring this show back every week live on YouTube, stream free for your enjoyment, as are all Brevard College home athletic events. Wrapping up basketball, coming down the stretch there with the women and the men, and then we'll get strictly into spring sports. We'll have lacrosse on next week, 2 student athletes to preview the lacrosse seasons on the men's and women's side. First-year head coach Austin Hurley taking over for the men's lacrosse team this season. Looking forward to talking to them and getting going in the spring. It's really moving quickly here in my first year as a director of broadcasting and media relations. I appreciate all the open arms that you all have welcomed me with as we continue to trek through this 2026 now spring season. Looking forward to baseball, softball, lacrosse, and thank you again to all our student workers that have helped us out a lot. I know Gavin was involved a little bit with different events and stuff that we do here at Brevard. So really thankful to all the students that have spent their time with us and helping us move through this 2025-2026 athletic calendar as we move forward this season. Still waiting on Elizabeth. Again, Brevard will get going. It'll be a scrimmage coming up soon at Spartanburg Methodist, and then they'll continue on with Johnson & Wales here at home again before going on the road for a couple of weeks. Also, men's tennis getting going here in a couple of weeks as well. We'll try and get Coach Ryan Weber on the broadcast here soon, maybe next week, to break down the men's tennis schedule. 30 singles wins coming back for the men's tennis program. Looking forward to having them on. So Elizabeth looks ready to go. We'll welcome her into the show this evening to break down the 2026 softball schedule. Elizabeth, thanks for joining tonight.
Of course.
So welcome to the show to preview the 2026 softball seasons. You all get prepared to kick off this season. Talk about your off season. What were some of the focal points in your last collegiate off season to get ready for 2026?
I spent a lot of the time practicing, pitching, hitting. I know the season can be big for us, so I feel like a big part of it is just going out and practicing and still communicating with the team. And like we all would get together during our fall season and practice and like learn about each other and what we all can bring on the table.
It was your first season with the Tornadoes last year after transferring from Lake Sumter State. You posted a 3.37 ERA with 5 complete games. How did you feel that first season in Brevard went for you last year?
I felt really good about what I did on the field. With my teammates, they made me really comfortable with coming in as somebody new, especially like coming in as a junior. I was very proud of what I did, but I also felt like I can get better, and I'm excited for the season to see like what we can bring onto the table and what we can do differently.
So you quickly go from a newcomer last year to one of the senior leaders on this team entering this season. How have you helped lead and welcome in the new talent coming in this program to help them get adjusted to college softball?
As a senior pitcher, I feel like we have a lot of freshmen. There's only, I think, 2 returner pitchers. So when we like do things like with new like practice things we do, like I'm always there for them to like answer their questions, and they do also like feel comfortable with asking. It's also when we go in the bullpen, showing them like what we do in the bullpen, like what's our purpose here, and as a pitcher, like what can we bring to help the team.
So on that note, you have an overall pretty experienced roster, not necessarily in the circle, but you have 17 returners and 9 incoming freshmen. How important is it to have that consistency, at least overall, with players returning this roster and also having those newcomers come in to produce this year?
All of the newcomers are very outgoing, and they feel so comfortable with us. And it's nice that our people that are returning are also very open arms, and our coaches are too. So everybody's just feeling like a family right now, and we're all working hard, especially like with all our agilities and running and stuff. It gets hard, but we're all learning how to like push each other and know what we're all capable of doing.
So talk about the talent in the circle as a whole. You talk about two returners, including yourself in the circle. Who are some other contributors that can pop up this season and have a good year?
We have a transfer who's from South Florida, Megan. It's kind of funny because she was in my conference at Lake Sumter, so we're playing on the same team now. She can bring a lot too. She has a lot of spin. We also have Emily, who's a returner. She played in some games last year. And we have Kat and Victoria, and all of them bring in, we're all different. And I feel like when we go into the circle, we can all change up our speeds and we all spin. And I feel like it'll be a good mix up for when we go against our competition.
So in addition to your production in the circle, you also had some pop in the box. Has that been something you've worked on a lot in the offseason? What are you hoping to do in the batter's box this season?
Yeah, in the batter's box, I feel like I do offer a lot because I'm a slapper and a power hitter. I worked a lot on my slapping and learning on when I should slap and when I should regular hit because that's something I kind of struggle with. And it's just working on like mentally, like where the players are at, when should I do each one, and like also asking questions on that. And I've been working on my power, working on hitting farther and just having more options for when I come up to bat.
So as an arm on this team that will see a lot of innings, Coach Sheeran has talked a lot about you and the innings that you will have this season. Talk about the mental aspect of the game. If a start doesn't go your way, how do you kind of have that short memory to bounce back the next time you're in the circle?
Yeah, if my start doesn't go my way and I might be going back in, I usually go straight to the bullpen and like hit it on the head of like what was not working and how I could fix it. And then I usually will pull Coach Taylor to the side and we'll talk about it. But like mentally it might get a little draining, but I know that it's an easy fix and it's always usually something like little that will fix it and make my pitch start working again.
So looking at this schedule, you start with 2 games at home against Johnson and Wales, and you head on the road for 18 straight road or neutral games. You go to Myrtle Beach as well. Talk about the challenges of a heavy road start, but also the opportunities that provides to kind of build your team up heading in the home schedule.
Well, last year we liked playing away, so that was nice. So usually our away games were usually one of our best games. So away games, they get a little tiring with trying to like figure out all our classes and like work and all that. But I just feel like there's just so much fun because it's when you get to bond with your team the most. And we like home games too because they're here and all our people are here also. So I'm excited for both.
So when it comes to the USA South, what did you learn about this conference in your first year and maybe some of the challenges they can provide in the conference?
Every team has their own thing that they're really good at. And I feel like playing against them last year, we kind of learned what each team has that they bring to the table when they play against us. And we now, like for this pitching staff, we know when we go against them, like we know what players we have to look for and what they don't like and what they do like, or maybe like their pitchers throw something different. So we learned a lot last year, and I feel like we can definitely learn from it and bring more to it this year.
So when coming from Lake Sumter, what was it about Brevard that drew you here, and how have you enjoyed your time so far here in Brevard?
I told myself that if I was going to keep when I was going to keep playing softball, I wanted to go somewhere far from home. So North Carolina was the best opportunity for me. I like the mountains here. I think it's really beautiful. It's so different than Florida. So that was nice. And then on my visit, I just felt like it was automatically at home. My best friend Evie, she's from home too, and she goes here and she was telling me all about how she loved it and the community that was built here. So I thought it'd be a great opportunity to try something new.
So with his coaching staff, Coach Sheeran and Emily and Taylor White, how have they assisted in your progression as a pitcher and in the box? How have they kind of had an impact on you and your time here in Brevard?
I'm definitely a player that asks a lot of questions. If I have a question, I will ask it right then and there. And they always have an answer for me. I never feel like my questions are stupid, and they're always open to it. Sometimes with pitching, like if a pitch isn't going my way, like I'm the type that will look over there and be like, tell me what's wrong, because like I need to fix it now. And they're so open to it and they're so used to me doing it. With Coach Taylor, we have like little cues for each pitch. So like if the curveball's not working, she knows what is needed to tell me to let it click in my head, and then it will start working.
So we'll shift to a couple personal questions now. Who are you off the field? Who's Elizabeth when she's not in the circle or in the box? What do you kind of do in your free time when you're not in the softball field?
I'm a girl that likes to stay busy. So I work at the coffee shop. I have a work study. I'm an elementary education major, so I'm always at the elementary schools. I'm just always outside. I love playing like pickleball or like even I'm also the women's basketball team manager, so like hanging out with them is always fun. And I just always like to be doing something. I don't like sitting still.
So you mentioned that you're majoring in early education. Might be a bit of a loaded question, but what are your plans after graduation? What do you hope to do when you get your degree here at Brevard?
I hope to go home and find an elementary school that I can start working at. I would also like to start helping with my high school softball team. So that'd be nice, like getting a little coaching and still staying around the sport.
So during your time at college, both at Lake Sumter and here at Brevard, what are some lessons that you've learned that you can take into your teaching or coaching career down the line?
I definitely learned that your plan is not always going to go. So just learning how to be flexible, and like that's going to happen a lot in the classroom. Even like being a coach, just learning how to like change things like right on, like instantly.
So with this team, Coach Sheeran's talked a lot about how excited she is about this group. I'm sure you are as well. What are some realistic goals for this team in 2026 that you guys hope to achieve on the field?
Some goals for us would be like those close games we have, usually us coming up with the win. I would say maybe more like team things to do. I would just say being more as a team, like going out to dinner more often, which we have been doing. And I would just say getting more wins.
So for you personally, what are some goals that you have for yourself after such a great year? How do you build on that and kind of improve here in 2026?
For me, my goals would probably be like more like in the box, like being more productive in the box for our team. I feel like once we get started, like we won't stop with them bats. And then in the circle, it'd probably just be throwing them strikes, like letting the batters hit the ball, like not worrying so much of like getting a strikeout and trusting my defense behind me.
So throughout the offseason and early into this season, as you guys prepare to get going, what have you learned about this team's identity? What is the offense and the defense kind of going to look like this year for you guys on the field?
I feel like with the defense, we're definitely going to have pretty good communication and getting those plays that we need, especially like the plays that we need, like if a runner's going home, like the teamwork to get it in there. And then I feel like offensively, like we're going to collect our hits together. I feel like one person gets a hit. Like I said earlier, like we're all just going to start hitting.
So lastly, I ask every athlete this question: what does your pregame routine look like if you know you're going to pitch that day? From the time you wake up to the time you step in the circle, what does that day look like for you to get ready to go?
We usually start pretty early, so we'll probably be out there by like 10. I usually just wake up, eat something. The only thing like I'm really picky about is just the way I get dressed, like my socks, my like my undershirt has to go on, but that's the only thing I'm really picky about. We do like to get in the locker room a little bit earlier as a team and like listen to music, hang out, get ready, and then our coaches will come in, tell us our goals for the day, the game plan, who's starting and all that. And then just the walk down the field is probably when I really get like more in like the zone with like how I want to do that day. And then when we get down there, we just have fun and warm up. But when game starts, it's like everybody's like locked in and ready to go.
All right, Elizabeth. Well, thank you for joining tonight and good luck here in 2026.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good night. That is Elizabeth Auciello of the softball team, one of the leading pitchers coming back for Brevard in 2026. The softball team gets going against Johnson and Wales here in a couple of weeks on February the 22nd. We'll wait on our next guest. Reagan Winkler will join the show here in a moment. Coach Sheeran has talked a lot about this team and how excited she is for this program here in 2026. Looking forward to watching the ladies play this season, both at home and keeping an eye on them on the road. Again, that 18-game road stretch is pretty daunting, but Elizabeth talked about the Tornadoes like playing on the road last year and actually had more success on the road than they did at home. So we'll see if that trend continues in 2026. A couple of the notable road trips going to Myrtle Beach, mentioned that one, 6 games in 3 days. We'll talk to Reagan about the challenges with that in 2026 and some of the hurdles you have to get over when you have 6 games in 3 days. It's not easy to do as a softball program to have that many games in that many days as we wait for her to get going. I want to thank our corporate sponsors again. If any of our sponsors are tuned in tonight, I want to thank you guys for supporting Brevard College Athletics as we'll welcome in our final guest, Reagan Winkler of the softball team. Reagan, thanks for joining tonight.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, talk about your off season. What did that off season look like for you, both on and off the field? How did you kind of work on some things in your game, and also enjoy some time off? What did you kind of get into in the off season?
I think for me, one of the main things was really just like continuing to stay busy and, stay on conditioning. And I mean, we obviously hit the field some too, some of me and my teammates, but mostly just the conditioning aspect for me personally. And I've, of course, worked on hitting, as that's like my main concern for this upcoming season.
So a significant jump in production from the 2 seasons ago to last season. Your batting average 120 points higher than the season before. What were some improvements that you made from your sophomore or junior season to create that production last year?
I think just adjusting more to the program and, like growing more confident as I got a little bit older and I guess, matured in the game and realized that, you do have to put work in to get out what you want.
So you're one of the more experienced players on this roster, but it's filled with athletes returning to this team and also 9 freshmen. Talk about the returning nucleus of this team and also how the newcomers kind of fit in 2026.
Yeah, I think we're super excited for this year. I think this will really be a special team with what little practices we've had because the weather so far, we've really gelled well together the time that we've had. And, it's hard sometimes to replace the senior class that leaves us, but at the same time, I think that we bring a lot more to the table this year with all of our depth that we have. So
offensively, you're a big part of the equation, but talk about some of the other girls that could contribute in that department. What kind of offensive identity can we expect to see out of this group this year?
I think I'm super confident in our hitting ability this year. I think that's what's really going to, drive home what we need. I know we have a bunch of freshmen, like Emily Hill, and some of our freshman pitchers too are going to come in there and swing the bat for us too. So that's always great. And, we have some new players on the infield too, and I think that they'll definitely contribute a lot.
So in the world of college athletics, it's pretty common for athletes to see 1 or 2, maybe 3 coaches throughout their college careers, but you've been fortunate enough to have the same group throughout your college career. Talk about the impact of Coach Bree Sheeran and some of the other assistants on the staff that have kind of helped you guide you along here in your college career.
Yeah, no, I'm extremely grateful for Coach Bree and Coach Taylor and even Coach Emily. I mean, she likes to give herself not as much credit as she should. I think she's out there a lot too and really helps boost the morale and the things that she does. It doesn't ever go underappreciated. And Coach Bree is just someone who always believes in you and makes sure that, you know who you are and you know what you can do. And same thing with Coach Taylor. I mean, she's a prodigy of Coach Bree. So I'm just really grateful for the relationship that I have with them and the respect level that we all share.
So your schedule, especially early, is very road heavy. You go on the road or neutral sites for 18 straight games, including that trip to Myrtle Beach where you'll have 6 games in 3 days. Talk about some of the challenges with playing 6 games in 3 days, but also some of the opportunities to build on your team chemistry with that short stretch where you have so many games in those 3 days.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be tough for us, but I think, that's where we really bond as a team is when you have no time to breathe, you're constantly playing and, you have one practice between the 6 games of the week. It's like you don't have a whole lot of time to mess around. You just got to get in there and get it done. But no, I think we had a lot of success on the road last year. That's where we had the majority of our big games for us that really turned the season around was on the road. So I'm feeling confident that, the road games won't really be too tough. I think we have to get it together for our home games and, try to produce on that side too.
So you talk about team chemistry. How have you guys kind of bonded since you've been back on campus? How has this group kind of came together, the combination of youth and experience? How those two groups kind of meshed as you go into 2026?
I think it's really good that we, as a team, promote more team bonding and, we try to do things together as a team and sometimes with scheduling issues that doesn't always happen. But I think the opportunities that we have, even if it's at 6 o'clock in the morning, conditioning and weights, I think that we all take that opportunity to truly grow closer and supporting each other definitely helps us in our team chemistry.
So focusing on you personally, who are you off the field? What do you do in your free time when you're not spending time on the field? Who is Reagan Winkler when she's not playing softball?
Like Liz said, I mean, I like to stay busy, but I'm a senior RA in the Villages, so I've been doing that for 3 years now, and I really love that. I also am a work study for campus life, and I stay busy up there too, and I just I like to do a lot of things. I always like to hang out with my friends and enjoy it here at Brevard. There's so much to do, so yeah.
So in the classroom, you're a psychology major. What are your future plans when you graduate from Brevard? What are you hoping to do when you get your degree here at Brevard?
I've always liked the idea of helping people. So I think something definitely in the psychology field will really be good for me. I always feel like, working with kids, I've always loved to, watch them grow, and hopefully coaching's in the future too in some aspect, but not 100% sure, but have options.
So this might be a bit of a loaded question, but looking back on your freshman self coming into college, now that you're a senior, what's a piece of advice you'd give yourself, your freshman self coming into college?
Wow. I don't know. I mean, just never give up. I think that freshman Reagan was a lot different than I am now. I think that there was challenges that I felt like I couldn't get over, but I think you have to truly find your people in your group that supports you in the correct way so you can get over those humps.
So for this team and yourself, what are some goals that you have for this team and personally heading into the 2026 season?
I think for the team, a big thing for us is just to lean on each other, when times get hard, because, when playing 2-hour games and 2 games a day, it's not always easy. So whenever you're able to lean on each other and have that good communication and teamwork, it's like that's what's going to carry us at the end of the day. And, personal goals, I think being more communicative and, giving more people grace, especially myself. And, at the end of the day, it's just a game. So just remembering that mistakes happen. It's just how you get over it.
So lastly, what does your game day look like from the time you wake up to the time you get on the field? What does those few hours kind of look like for you? Any superstitions, any music that you like to listen to before a game?
I do like to get a Dunkin' coffee before I go. So I think that's probably the most accurate one. And then I usually like to get my sliders and my undershirt on in my room and then head to the locker room and, listen to music. I guess you could say hype music with the team and just get ready to go. And, kind of what Liz said, walking down to the field is the lock-in point. So it's that 5-minute walk, whatever it is truly all right, it's game time. It's time to go. So.
All right, Reagan. Well, thank you for taking some time tonight and good luck here in 2026.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right, have a good night. That is Reagan Winkler of the softball team as we put a bow on this show. Great show with many different great guests this evening. I want to thank Gavin McCoy, Matthew Evans, Elizabeth Hausiello, and Reagan Winkler for joining the show tonight. To look forward a little bit, as I mentioned, come on out to Gilcone Field on Saturday. Should be some great weather, sunny and in the 50s, maybe even in the low 60s. We'll see what happens there, but certainly more pleasant weather than we've had here recently with the 2 separate ice storm, then snowstorm. It looks like we'll have some good weather for the opening weekend of baseball. So looking forward to that. Also, the basketball team plays against Methodist this weekend as well. So really busy weekend on campus, but looking forward to it as we move towards the spring sports season. The baseball game will be our first official spring sports regular season event. So looking forward to hopefully seeing you all there. Looking forward on this show. Next week, we'll try and get Ryan Weber back on to talk tennis and also have Coach Austin Hurley on and a couple of his athletes to talk about lacrosse season, also Sarah Perry's athletes as well, to preview the women's lacrosse season. So looking forward to that show. Looking forward to a great weekend here at home. Again, this event, as our all Brevard Home College events, stream live on YouTube for your enjoyment. We look forward to talking to you this weekend and into next week. Ryan Wilkes signing off here live on Tornado Talk.